The pattern you'll see today is free. It will solve a lot of your summer topper needs. Stay with me. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing, and I'm excited to share something I made in the color red, which is one of my favorite colors. This is a brand new pattern from Itch to Stitch. What stands out from this pattern is one little word that I'm sure you're gonna really like, and it's free. That is the word. This is a brand new pattern that is absolutely free on the website. You can download it, you don't have to pay anything, and it comes in the full size range. And if you've never tried Itch to Stitch pattern, I suggest you grab it so that you can see how these patterns are, the quality of the instructions, how easy it is to put them together. And what I'm talking about is the Deba topper. It's a really nice pattern. You can make it in two different lengths, one shorter, one longer. The shorter one is going to be around the high hip. The longer version is about 3 inches longer around the mid hip, and the hem is curved a little shorter here on the side than on the center front. Got a rounded little neckline. This neckline is all finished with a facing on the inside, very easy and very neat. It's meant to just come together in the center, not cross over. And the way that you close it is with a single button loop right there. Very easy to do. Now, I have nothing against setting in sleeves, but I know a lot of you don't really enjoy that, so you don't have to worry about sleeves, and that's because it's just integrated into the front and back pieces. Dolman style, it's not too short, it's not too long, great coverage under there. And for great fit, you have bust cup sizes with an awesome bust start over here, which is always really helpful with a dolman style. The back is simple cut on the fold. So it's a really easy to wear style, and if you've got a lot of wider leg bottoms, skirts, pants lying around, or fit and flare dresses, it's going to be perfect, especially in the shorter length. The Deba topper is a free pattern, so you don't need to purchase it. That's amazing. I have still left you my affiliate link that takes you directly to the website. You know, if you end up grabbing it and downloading it, I'm not making a commission, I'm making zero from this make. Please still use my affiliate link, because at least it lets a designer know that those referrals are coming from over here, from Lifting Pins and Needles. Have a browse at the website. There's so many beautiful patterns there. It's a really nice brand, very good quality. Highly recommend. Find the link in the description box and also right at the top of the pinned comment, so it's easy for you to find. The Deba topper is designed for woven fabrics. I wouldn't really want to sew this in a knit. I think the woven is going to let it shine the best. Light to medium weight. You don't need the fabric to drape for this type of style. I think 100% linen would be amazing. Linen blends like linen cotton blend, linen rayon blend, also amazing. A lightweight denim. I don't know if I'd want to use a heavier type of denim. I think you could get uncomfortable here because of the fold that you get with the dolman style. If you wanted denim, I would keep it lightweight. Chambray would be amazing. A cotton twill, a cotton sateen, that sort of thing. It's meant to be a summer piece, so I wouldn't really go into heavier fabrics or things that are meant to make you warm, like wools and suitings, because it is short sleeve. So just keep it lightweight and summery and you'll be okay. My fabric choice is a linen rayon blend, 70% linen, 30% rayon in red. As soon as I saw the liner and how Kenneth had styled this, I thought about all the things that need a red little topper and I was so happy to choose that fabric. I have some left to make some type of bottom later on, so I can have a little set. So I'm 100% satisfied with my fabric choice. Very happy. You need a little bit of fusible interfacing for the facings that go inside, and just one button. Not many notions, not much fabric requirement here. You're not going to use yards and yards of fabric with this one at all, which is an amazing thing for me because I love sewing pieces with small amounts of fabric. It's the best thing. Sizing, full size range from 00 to 40 US. There are cup sizes here from A through to double D. The way that you choose your sewing bust cup size is different than what you use for your bra. So forget about your bra cup size. Measure your high bust and your full bust. And that's how you figure out your sewing cup size. You'll find a chart in the pattern. For example, a 3-inch difference is a C cup, 4-inch difference is a D cup, etc. And you'll get a really nice fit with the bust start over here. Love that. You have a nice roomy fit around the bust to fit a light layer underneath. So you have about 4 inches of space right here. With dolman styles, it's sort of hard to measure the ease around the bust because underneath the sleeve area also counts as bust ease. it's gonna fit, it'll be okay. And then it goes a little boxier, so you have a little more space at the waist. At the hip, you have about 2.5 inches, but it's not the actual hip because neither of the two length options here reach the full hip. The one I'm sewing goes up to my high hip. I would really consider that. Just think, where is this top gonna hit, and is that enough for your hip circumference if your widest part is lower than this top, because this top doesn't go down to the full hip. It's really easy to follow the size chart, the body measurements, just plot them down there. I would suggest you trust the sizing. I wouldn't size down, I wouldn't size up. Just go with what you see there. And remember, every designer has their own chart. You might be different sizes within different brands, and that does not matter. What matters is that you get a garment that's going to fit you really well. Now, the length of this crop version, if you measure from the base of your neck down to the hem, is around 20 and some inches, and then the longer version is around 23 inches. So it's about a 3-inch difference between the shorter one and the longer version. I'm doing the shortest version. Personal fitting, I chose a size 12 with the C cup size for this top area, the bust, or this area. And then just underneath here, where the bust side is, I just blended to 14, and down to the hem, waist and hips down to 14. No other fitting adjustments other than lowering that bust dart by 1 inch, which is super common for me to have to do. I don't even think about it. I just measure that dart, and I knew it was going to be about 1 inch too high, so I just cut out a rectangle, just put the whole dart down, and that's a really, really easy fitting adjustment. That's it. For sewing, I have filmed the most interesting parts for you. You'll see it's very easy. It won't take you all day to sew. I'm focusing on the neckline and the facing. So let's see how to make the Deba topper. Here are the pattern pieces for the Deba topper. As you can see, there's not many of them. You don't have to set in a sleeve because we have grown-on sleeves. This is the back. It's cut on the fold. It's very simple. These are the facing pieces, the back and the front. Those have already been interfaced. I used the block fusing method to interface those. If you want to know more about that, this is the thumbnail that takes you into more depth about that interfacing method. This is the front. This one has the same shape as that one, of course. And over here, we have this little shape. It's because there's a dart right here. There are cup sizes, so depending on the cup size, what size and depth your dart will have. I'm doing a C cup there. And that tiny, tiny piece is a single button loop that's going to be sandwiched between the facing and the center front. It's going to be one button, and that's how you're going to close up your topper. As with any project that's a woven, I'm doing some stay stitching. I'm going from the shoulder into the center for the front piece over here. There are 2 of these, so I'll repeat that. You do this with a straight stitch and a little smaller than the seam allowance we're going to use later, which is 1/2 inch. And then for the back, I'm going from the shoulder into the center, stopping, cutting the thread, and then starting on the other shoulder and going back into the center. Why don't I sew the back in one go? It's to get a symmetrical result, because you could end up having one that's a little longer than the other. It could end up stretching out. Now we have bust darts. I've pinned mine. I've got them marked with a friction pen, and I'm going to sew them like I sew all my darts, from the dart point to the widest part. That's how I have the best result, and I can really fiddle with my needle until it goes in right at the edge of the fabric. I don't backstitch. I leave thread that I knot by hand later. Before doing some actual sewing, I have gone ahead and serged everything. The sides, even the sleeve area, the shoulder. The only thing that's raw right here is the neckline. The way I'm going to do the hem later is by hand. I'm just going to do a single fold and hand sew the hem for both the sleeves and this part. And now we're going to do shoulder seams. The bust darts have been done already, and so these just go here on top. And the shoulder seams are longish because this has an integrated short sleeve, dolman style. So we have 2 shoulder seams to sew and press open. After sewing the main shoulder seams, we have the facings. We need to do these shoulder seams as well. So these just go right sides together over here. On the outer edge of the facing, in the instructions, we're supposed to fold it in by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to do a guide stitch all around the outer edge. You saw me doing the guide stitch at 1/2 inch. That helps me press really well, so you can see all the outer edge of the facing pressed in. But I think this is too much seam allowance to leave in there, so I'm going to trim away this seam allowance to 1/2 and just leave 1/4 inch in there. Here we have the topper extended on the table. I've got it right sides up. This is one shoulder seam, that is the other one. Here is the neckline, center fronts over here. And here is my facing already. So that's my completed facing, and this is going to go right here on top. And if you know me, I'm going to hand baste this so I don't have to deal with pins, especially around this rounded area. Now I need to make a button loop, and hand basting has biggish stitches. I'm going to be able to slip that loop into there when I figure out the right position that I want. This is a little piece for the button loop, and I'm so glad I don't have to sew it and turn it right sides out. What I've got here is both of the long edges just folded into the center, and because I don't want to burn myself, I've just hand basted it. I know if I went to the iron and did this, I'll be burning all of my fingers. So now that I've got both folds into the center right there, now I'm just going to fold it again like this. And now I'm going to edge stitch. And I'm going to have my piece for my button loop already done. I went ahead and tried this on. I want my loop to be a little above my full bust. I don't want it to be at my full bust. I don't want it to be that distant from the top here. I think this is going to be personal preference. So I've done some pretty big hand basting in here, and I know the positioning that I would like. I think I do have space to slide my loop in between this area right there. I'm just going to hold this here and put it through here. Now I can feel this loop is quite away from here. I don't want the loop to be that big. So I'm just going to tug and pull. Remember, we're using a 1/2 inch seam allowance right here. So I'm going to mimic that right there and just see how much am I going to have. I think that's plenty, big enough for me to put a button. That's how I'm going to sew this. When I'm sewing the facing, this is just going to be in there as well. This facing is designed to be shorter than the bottom, so mine is a little bit shorter. Instead of folding the hem allowance up twice afterwards, I've just sewn across the bottom so that when I flip this, messily right now, the hem is going to come from behind the facing. I also really want to hand hem this as I usually do with my linen things, so I think it'll look really neat, and I don't mind doing the hand sewing. I really enjoy it. Before continuing with this facing, I'm just trimming it down. There's a lot of seam allowance in there, so I'm cutting it in half. And then the back neckline and the front neckline are really curved, so I'm doing some snips there. And now it's time to understitch. I'm not going to be able to understitch this corner over here, but I'm going to get as close as possible. First, I'm going to flip, and I'm just going to fold it right there. Hold it all together. And we get a nice little pointy corner right there. The seam allowance goes towards the facing right here, and we sew on the edge. This is another presser foot. This has an L on it. It's also a type of blind hem presser foot, but different. When you move this, it moves this edge in or out, so you can actually get whatever seam allowance you want, and it's really helpful. I've set it here to about 1/8 of an inch. A lot of steps have been done. I've got my facing towards inside pressed really neatly. I've hand basted it all the way around, so that's ready to be top stitched in a second. And then the next steps are super easy. Just these little side seams over here. Remember, these have all been serged before, so I don't need to worry about finishing edges. So after those side seams, I just need to hem the sleeve, hem the bottom that I'm going to do by hand, and then sew in the button, and that's it. I'll just get this facing top stitched. I think this is a garment that you could make quite quickly and not with much fabric, so love it. Here is my little cute version. I'm so happy with it. I love this tone of red. It's a darker red. So nice. Up closer here. There is my single button. I tried this on really quickly when I had the facing already basted on by hand so that I could figure out where I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to be at my full bust. I wanted it a little bit higher. I think that's just going to be personal preference. You won't find a mark on the pattern piece for that. It's something that you need to determine for yourself. So I think that's great because you know what's best and you know where that little button is going to be the best for you. And it was so easy. I'm glad this button loop wasn't the type that you sew it and then you have to turn it right sides out, because I can never get a safety pin small enough to be able to do that comfortably. So this method over here where you just fold it and top stitch is perfect. And it's so easy to just sandwich between the front and the facing. It's right there very neatly. I found the one single red button in my button stash. I'm sure I've used it for something else and I had one left, so that was perfect. I really wanted a matching button. I didn't want something contrasting. And the facing inside is a very neat finish. It's so nice. I mean, it's just so nice. And for a curved hem in linen, there's no other way that I find best than to do a hand hem. I know I would be very unhappy having stitching there at the bottom. And when you do a hand hem, you can really regulate that curve and not get puckers like you would at the sewing machine. So that is always going to be my preferred way. Same as for the sleeves. I just love that smooth finish you get with a hand hem. And look, to be honest, you'll never ever see a pattern, indie, commercial, wherever, that even suggests doing a hand hem. Is just not a thing. People don't want to do that. But remember, it's your sewing room, it's your time. You get to make those decisions. And I love doing my hand hems, especially for linen. I think they just look so smooth and so beautiful in the end. And this type of hem lasts as long as a hem that you do by machine. I've never had my hand hems coming undone and falling apart over time. It just doesn't happen. So I'm really happy with that. The back is super simple. It's just on the fold. Everything was serged at the beginning, so the process ended up being super fast. I've styled this a lot of ways for you to see. 5 ways. I could have done many more ways, but I capped myself up to 5. Let's see it on many ways: pants, skirts and dresses. This is my super cute Deba topper from ttwo in red linen. Mine is a size 12 with a C-cup blended to 14 waist and hips. There is a longer version than this. I've just chosen a shorter version. I've chosen the shorter version to wear with wide leg pants or fuller skirts and dresses. These are my Samara pants, also from ttwo, a really simple cami. When I move around, you can see that the side is shorter than the center front and the center back. There's a nice curved hem I did by hand there. And the center fronts are finished with a really nice facing. It's really neat on the inside. Really love it. It's a really easy sew. And I love how it looks over these pants. Neckline is rounded. Dolman sleeves have really nice coverage under there. They're not open. I think the length is so good. And the finish with the facing is just perfection. It's really nice. It is not a pattern that's going to take you all day to sew. And there you can see it's got a single button closure with a loop that you can open up or leave closed. Very nice facing on the inside. You can see closer at my bust start. Fits perfectly after lowering it 1 inch. That's just personal fitting. I really love how it looks over these pants. These are one of the most striking pants I have in a Rayon. The print is just very bold and I'm really happy to have this little topper to go with them. I think it looks really cute. And you're gonna see my little topper styled many ways. It's such a fun piece. Just go get the pattern for free. It's amazing. This red goes perfectly over the stripy skirt. This is a pretty long maxi skirt with a button front. I've got red sandals in there and I've got a simple cami underneath. I think this is a super fun outfit and I'm really glad to have this short little topper that can go really well with these wider pieces on the bottom. Really love the look. Up closer you can see the waistband of the skirt, the little cami tucked in. Very simple. I think the Deba topper is perfect for these types of garments. I'm just glad I have it in my favorite color. This is gonna go a very long way in my wardrobe. I couldn't keep my Icaria pants out of this lookbook. These are a wide leg pattern from Itch to Stitch, pull up with an elasticated waistband, really nice pocket detail. The navy and the red, what can I say? It's a classic color combination that I really enjoy, and yeah, this outfit is everything. I was really needing something that was shorter to go on top. I usually make longer jackets and shirts, so this little shorter version is perfect for the wider style bottoms that you might have lying around that you don't know what to pair with on top because it's voluminous on the bottom. You want something a little shorter on top. Fit and flare dresses, perfect. This is one of the few dresses with a fuller skirt that I have. I don't have many, but I do have a few. This dress actually has short sleeves underneath and they fit perfectly under this dolman sleeve. I was afraid that they were going to peek out from underneath, but they don't, so that's really nice. Fuller skirt, more voluminous silhouette, so I really don't want to wear a topper that's longer. This print has some red in there, so I thought this red Deba topper was going to be perfect on top. And see in there, it's a nice fitted bodice, but then the skirt has more volume. Is another fit and flare dress. This is Savannah dress from Itch to Stitch. Has a beautiful V neckline underneath that you can't see because it's all covered up. And you know I like my red prints with black and white. This is one of them, and this Deba topper goes on top perfectly. Love this. I absolutely enjoy making items that I know I'm gonna wear over and over and over, and I love layering, and this is a really nice way to layer up in the summer without actually getting hot while doing it. So I'm really happy. I'm very content with this pattern. It's really cool. It's an easy make. It's free. What are you waiting for? I wish I would have had time to make a navy version. I know I need a navy version. While I was trying to put these outfits together, I found so many ways that a navy version of the Deba would fit right into my wardrobe. I have many fit and flare dresses with navy in them, and it would just go straight in. In the summer, a couple of months ago when I was in Chile at my parents', I found a cropped linen blazer in black. And I've been really loving it. And I always thought I need to make some cropped little things in linen, in other colors. Well, this Deba topper fit right in to that vision I had and that actual need that I had for a little layering piece to go with wide leg pants, wider skirts. If you've been following my journey over here at Lifting Pins and Needles, you might know that I've returned to the maxi skirt last year after not wearing them for more than 20 years. And I have a couple, I've made a few already, and this little topper is just amazing, goes perfect. And now I'm dreaming of having it in all different colors. But you know, our time is limited. I was only able to make one so you can see it, inspire you, and just encourage you to go get the pattern for free. You know, why not get it for free? You don't have to pay a thing, right? I hope you give it a go. I really enjoyed mine. I really hope I get time to make my dream the navy little short topper that I need. Now, as a bonus, it's been really hard for me to make content and work. I have been sewing and filming behind the scenes. It's been really hard for me to just get out of the TV area from watching the Olympics. I am absolutely obsessed. I watch everything, and I've been really enjoying it. Well, I think most of you are probably that Olympics obsessed, but I have been ever since I was a child. I've always enjoyed watching all the sports and learning about them and the athletes, and it's just really inspiring. Really enjoyed the artistic gymnastics. I was on the edge of my seat there watching the American girls, and the Brazilian team have done amazing. Rebeca Andrade from Brazil, she's a huge mega star here. She did amazing as well. If you remember, what's Karina doing these days? I'm still sewing. I'm really trying to sew, but I'm really torn between watching the Olympics. That's just how it is. Anyway, enough blab about other things that are not sewing. go ahead and grab yourself the Deba topper. It's free, why not? You can see how good these patterns are, quality, the instructions, you'll really love them. Remember, my affiliate link is always down below. That's all from me. I hope to see you next week with at least 2 more videos. I've been working behind the scenes to get some content for you next week. Have fun sewing, grab the Deba topper, you won't regret it. Bye.